The majority, like himself, had been thrown there by some accident and had remained as officers of country ships. They had now a horror of the home service, with its harder conditions, severer view of duty, and the hazard of stormy oceans. They were attuned to the eternal peace of eastern sky and sea. They loved short passages, good deck chairs, large native crews, and the distinction of being white. To Jim, that gossiping crowd viewed as seamen seemed at first more unsubstantial than so many shadows. But in time, there grew up slowly another sentiment, and suddenly, giving up the idea of going home, he took a berth as chief mate of the Patna. The Patna was a local steamer, as old as the hills, lean like a greyhound and eaten up with rust worse than a condemned water tank. She was owned by a Chinaman, chartered by an Arab, and commanded by a sort of renegade New South Wales German. After she had been painted outside and whitewashed inside, 800 pilgrims, more or less, were driven on board as she lay with steam up alongside a wooden jetty. They came covered with dust, with sweat, with grime, with rags. The strong men at the head of family parties, the lean old men pressing forward without hope of return. Young boys with fearless eyes, glancing curiously. Shy little girls with tumbled long hair, the timid women muffled up and clasping to their breasts, wrapped in loose ends of soiled headcloths, their sleeping babies, the unconscious pilgrims of an exacting belief. "Look at this kettle," said the German skipper to his new chief mate. An Arab, the leader of that pious voyage, came last. A string of servants followed, loaded with his luggage. The Patna cast off and backed away from the wharf, swung through half a circle in the shadow of a hill, cleared the strait, crossed the bay and held on straight for the Red Sea under a sky scorching and unclouded. Every morning the sun, as if keeping pace in his revolutions with the progress of the pilgrimage, emerged with a silent burst of light. The awnings covered the deck with a white roof from stem to stern, and a faint hum, a low murmur of sad voices, alone revealed the presence of a crowd of people upon the great blaze of the ocean. Such were the days, still, hot, heavy. The night descended on her like a benediction. The Arabian Sea, smooth and cool to the eye like a sheet of ice, extended its perfect level to the perfect circle of a dark horizon. Jim, on the bridge, paced athwart, and two Malays, silent and almost motionless, steered, one on each side of the wheel. "How steady she goes," he thought with wonder, with something like gratitude for this high peace of ease and sky. At such times, his thoughts would be full of valorous deeds. He loved these dreams, and the success of his imaginary achievements. He became drunk with an unbounded confidence in himself. There was nothing he could not face. The end of his watch was near, and his skipper had come up noiselessly in pyjamas and with his sleeping jacket flung wide open. Red of face, only half awake, he hung his big head over the chart and scratched his ribs sleepily. "Ot is no name for it down below," said a voice. The skipper emitted a sulky grunt. The second engineer, at the head of the bridge ladder, continued the tale of his complaints. He was more than half-cooked. The derned, compound, surface-condensing, rotten scrap heap rattled and banged down there like an old deck winch, only more so. And what made him risk his life every night and day that God made, amongst the refuse of a breaking-up yard flying round at 57 revolutions, was more than he could tell. "Where did you get drink?" inquired the German, very savage. "Not from you, Captain. You're far too mean, bigosh." The chief had given him a four-finger nip about 10 o'clock. "Only once, help me." Good old chief. But as to getting the old fraud out of his bunk, a 5-ton crane couldn't do it. Not tonight, anyhow. He was sleeping sweetly like a little child, with a bottle of prime brandy under his pillow.